the best decision of your life, what was it?
Oh God, the best decision was to just let go of the label and let go of the judgment and to actually choose myself and my health and my family first over everything else.
I'm Jessica, and I'm on a journey. Like a lot of us, I struggled with my weight, brought on by using food to fill every void, every worry, up to 270 pounds, all as my career in TV news was taking off. But when the weight led to high blood pressure, I had to make a decision to fight, to forgive, to love myself from within. We're all on a journey, and there's power when we share the lessons along the way, so we can all decide to live.
Welcome to Decide to Live. I'm Jessica Larché. This is a show that shines a light on stories that inspire hope, encourage us to embrace our obstacles as opportunities so we can all decide to live. Today's guest is my dear friend, wellness warrior, and real-life Wonder Woman, Kristen Crowley. We became friends during our time on everybody's favorite morning show in coastal Virginia. Now, there is no doubt she is stunning, but that does not mean her path was smooth sailing. She battled debilitating stage fright, bullying, an unhealthy body image, but she used her pain to prove her doubters wrong, going from training horses, running a department store, bartending, and then breaking news. Now, in her 40s, she is calling the shots, leaving the grind of morning news behind so she can be there for her family and bet on herself. Kristen Crowley. We can't start crying already.
We can't start crying off the top. Oh, okay.
I'm looking at you and I'm about to cry already.
We can't cry already. We have to.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for having me do this.
So Kristen was my in-house therapist for 5 years.
Add that to the resume. That's
yes,
on the resume. Yeah, okay.
Your 7-page long resume. But we really became close during our time on the morning show. And you were my in-house therapist. We cried on the floor many a time in the dressing room at work. I love our theme for this episode. You can't judge a book by its cover.
No, you can't. Never judge someone or what they've been through by your first glance.
Yeah.
And I love to prove people wrong, so I think that came through in every career that I've had. So it's kind of cool to share this now because we've talked about doing this for so long,
a long
that
time.
Now it's happening and it's overwhelming. So I do appreciate it.
We need a box of Kleenex. I can already tell. I can already tell. One of the things that's I admire about you is your strength. And everybody does not know your story because they look at you, they see your gorgeous family, they see your career, they see all of this, but they don't know what you endured growing up.
Yeah, I was shy. I was painfully shy. No one believes that now. I used to not talk. I didn't speak, I think it was until like at least 9th grade.
Wow.
I mean, I spent most of middle school not talking.
At all?
No, I would sit in the back of the classroom. I was so quiet. I didn't want to get picked on because the teasing stayed in play until I was about 13.
Wow.
And then once I hit high school, it stopped, and I think it only stopped because I had a little more confidence from the horses.
Because you showed horses.
Yeah, I showed horses, and animals are therapy. I just didn't resonate with any kids at school because they were cruel or mean, and I was never that way because I took care of animals. So I was always taking care of things and nurturing things and trying to make things feel better.
Yeah.
So I became adaptive in the sense, I think, or why I get along with everybody now is I just wanted to fit in somewhere, and I couldn't. I mean, I just tried, and I tried too hard probably sometimes, and then I'd get made fun of or a joke would be made, and then I'd just shut down again and not talk. So it was a pretty quiet few years.
And people may be hearing that and say, wait a minute, time out. You spent 12 years in television news on a multi-hour long morning show, live television, and you dealt with debilitating stage fright. This is not just like you get, your heart races a little bit before, but you said debilitating stage fright to where your body would shake, you feel nauseous. So how do you go from your body almost convulsing before you have to be in front of people to being on television every day, live for 12 years.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It was a long process. The one and only time I've ever spoken in front of a group before television was in high school, where you had to give a report, like on the chalkboard, you had to give a report. And I figured, well, the one thing I know how to do is clip horses. So I'm gonna clip a horse on the chalkboard with an eraser, and I knew how to do it. So I drew a horse head. At least I could draw. My mom gave me that talent. Drew a horse head, drew all the whiskers, drew the hair in the ears and the bridle path and the muzzle and the eyes, and I took an eraser and I explained how you clip a horse, which I don't think anyone in my class cared what the hell I was
How did they
talking about. They're
respond?
like, okay, like
that's
it
nice.
was informative, I guess. I mean, I knew what I was doing, so I was like, because that was where the one thing that I probably should have done more of is the more you talk about things you know, the more comfortable you get. And I at least knew that, and it was one that I couldn't get out of. I got out of every other speech from the time I was little until my mid-20s.
Really?
Got out of everyone in class. I would go to the bathroom, I would go sick that day, wouldn't go in, just wouldn't speak in front of people. Like, I really could not do it. I mean, I felt so sick. And I just went up there that day because I had to. There was no choice. I didn't look at anyone. I remember I just stared at the chalkboard with my back to everybody and talked. And I clipped this horse with an eraser, and at the end, the teacher was like, well, that was very creative. Like, I guess that's good. And I still got good grades, so it wasn't bad, but that was the only time I've ever spoke in front of people until I got into the restaurant business. And becoming a bartender was the only thing that got me over being shy.
The bars, you said, gave you confidence.
It did.
How?
It's the best psychological study you could ever be in, is obviously people watching in a bar or restaurant. Everybody does it. But being on the other side of it and hearing all the stories, and because I genuinely care about literally probably this table. I'll talk to anything and I'll care about it. But I would actually care about what these people were saying. And I developed really good relationships in the bar business. And I worked for, I think I opened 12 bars or restaurants here in Hampton Roads. And it was all
several around us where we are right now in downtown Norfolk.
At the Slover, I mean, we've got, restaurants right on Granby Street. The group I worked for with Bird and Baldwin and 456 and 219 and Big Easy, and I was at Club Soda and Havana's and at the Oceanfront and Red Star and all these restaurants, and everybody knows me from those. But I paid my dues. I mean, I went through the openings and I worked my butt off, and I learned how to manage people through the bar. And their reactions tell you everything, and you could tell so much about someone in those first couple of minutes. And my job was to make them feel comfortable, because that's my biggest thing with any situation is, and why I'm the welcome wagon is, I never want anyone to feel the way I felt. I never want anyone to feel like they don't fit in, or they're not appreciated, or they're not respected, because I went through that, and it feels like shit. Like, I'm going to say it, but it does, and you don't want people to feel that way. So I am extremely adamant on making people feel comfortable. So the restaurants gave me an avenue to be myself, say whatever I wanted, really, without getting in trouble most of the time. A little beep, beep, a little censor. Through that job, I met people in the media business. Most of my customers were now coworkers that were in TV news, and I knew them way before. So this is, 15, 16 years ago. But one of my customers one day at 456 got me into my first commercial, said, you need to do a commercial. No, I don't. You need to do, no. It took him almost, I would say, 3 or 4 months to convince me.
To even try.
Wouldn't do it. Not doing it. Not going to do it.
Because are you thinking about the stage fright at this point?
I got to speak in front of a camera? No way. I could speak in front of these people here all night long. I am fine. I got all these people. They are my little audience. I can control the situation. I got this barrier. I can walk off if I need to. And when you're on a camera, you're on the camera. It picks up everything. And I didn't want to not be good. Like, I didn't want to fail. Like, that's my biggest, if I'm not really great at something, I wouldn't do it. Horses, I was an amazing equestrian. I've won everything. Like, I had a great career in it. I was good at it. So I didn't do any other sport. It's because I never wanted to be made fun of or people to laugh at me if I failed. It was a mattress commercial. I'm gonna share this with everybody. Please don't try to look
Is it on the internet somewhere?
Internet.
Oh, man.
I probably have a copy somewhere.
I need this commercial. Because this is the perfect moment where you drop it in.
Drop the video in, just like action. Okay, I was behind the mattress because my legs were shaking so bad that they couldn't put me in front of the camera. So I stood behind the mattress, and the only reason I was good at memorizing scripts is because in the restaurants I could memorize like a table of 8, 3 courses. So I knew how to memorize things. So I could get through the script because I could talk a lot. So then you talk a lot, you'll be good on TV. Not necessarily true. And I ended up, being behind. And once I got through it, I enjoyed it, but I was still scared. So the only way to get over it is to do it again, and to do it again, and to do it again. And I probably shot 100 commercials with him over a course of 5 or 6 years. Then there was another bar customer who caught wind of what I was doing and said, hey, there's this job that's opening up at WTKR. They need a traffic person. You'd be great. No. No, I wouldn't.
So your first reaction was like, no, I'm not doing that.
No, I was not going to do that. I know. And then I'm like, want me to have an actual job like on the TV every day? No, and it's live? Like at least commercials are taped.
Did that terrify you?
Yes, it's terrifying.
Wow.
I mean, what do you think? Like, I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to get up there and I'm going to make a mistake and people are going to laugh at me and I can't do it. And I ended up going out. I told you I bought a little suit from BB when BB was, little pinstripe
BB was
suit.
popping.
BB
You
was
got your
cute, little
BB
satin
suit
with a little belt. It was cute. I showed up at that audition, and this is back when they had an actual kind of audition for it.
As afraid as you were, as scared as you were,
Yeah.
what made you go buy the suit and say, I'm terrified, but I'm going to go try out for this job?
Well, I bought the suit, and then I was not going to go. I was not going to show up. I had decided days before it was not going to be for me. I wasn't going to get it. I didn't have the experience. I was scared. What the hell am I going to say in front of these people? Like I just freaked out, and so I almost didn't go. And Chris, who was the one who had helped me, coaching me, was like, "You were meant for this, and you are talented." And you will do more than you will ever expect to do in this business. And I just was like, everybody keeps telling me these things, and I still didn't believe it. And then I just said, screw it. It's like, I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I mean, I've already overcome all this crap, and I'm moving into my late 20s, and I'm still in the restaurant business that I love, but I need a change and I need a challenge. I've always done that. Like if there's a job that will challenge me, I'll I'll just do it. And I just did it. I showed up and Kurt Williams was there that day and I had Kurt there and Kurt. He interrupts you on purpose when you're talking to see how you react, and they had this whole thing and you're all these 10 people in front of you watching, and I just started laughing, and I was like, I can't do anything but be myself. And I tried to use the news voice back in the day. We're like, and today we are, I mean, it was so cheesy. I mean, if I could find those first videos of the first
We tried
days,
for your farewell.
It was so bad.
We tried to find as many embarrassing old videos as we
found
could.
some good ones,
We did
though.
find
They were
some.
really
We did find some good ones.
Like, oh God. But I did it.
And you wound up winning.
And I wound up getting the job. The first days on air were horrible. They were so bad.
We're gonna drop in some clips so y'all can see what she's talking about.
Bad.
I don't think it's as it may have
you always
felt
think it's
bad.
worse. You always see
yeah.
yourself as worse. You're your own worst critic. You're your own worst enemy.
Your path to news was untraditional, but I think what's really important here, because there are people who are watching who have dreams, who say, well, I don't have this background, so I could never do that. But I think at the core is you had a willingness to listen to people's stories and a passion to tell their stories.
Yeah.
What was the biggest gift that working in morning TV news gave you?
You guys.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
There goes the crying. I knew I was going to do it. Honestly, it was, I had a support system every day that actually cared and was actually listen to my stupid stories and see the pictures of my kids and not laugh at me when I did stupid things, and actually were the people ultimately responsible for my level of overcoming the on-air stuff. When I learned that you just can't care what people think, And when you stop caring or giving a F, as I'm going to call it on your show, because I'm trying
Yeah,
to be
because
good.
we still censored.
We're still censored.
I still work in morning TV
I
news.
know,
So.
I can't say anything. But when you stop really like taking that outside criticism and you just do it because you love it and you're happy, it's a whole different world. And then you love it. And then you can do anything and mess up and you don't care. And that was the hardest part to overcome, because my biggest fear through everything that I did was, oh, here comes the tissue.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. Get
Thank
the
you,
tissue.
Joe. Thank you. Thank you,
We were
Slova
not
Library,
prepared.
for the
Thank you.
tissues.
Thank you, Slova, for the one ply. We'll get this here. Oh, thank
It's
you.
all good.
Okay,
Wait,
you
I
got
need
it.
some of those. Give me one.
Oh, I took both.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, we're a mess. Okay.
Wait, my
so
lash is about to come off.
It's okay. It's still on.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Got you.
But we are a family, and
Yeah.
and whether you are still there with us at 3:30 in the morning or not now,
Laid out in my bed.
we and you have earned that. You have earned that. But you know, we are a family, and
Yeah.
and so I'm grateful that we get to share a more intimate slice of that.
Yeah.
With the community, really that we've built.
We do, and we share a lot. And we're very close. We were very close with the viewers for a long time. And I mean, I still have people. It hasn't been too long that are coming up, and they still think I'm there. They think I'm on vacation for a month.
Oh, girl,
you got a good vacation policy. No, I'm gone. I'm gone, Susan. I'm sorry.
I'm
But
sorry, Susan.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm gone. But it's that was the biggest or the hardest thing for me. The schedule I could give up.
Well, and people don't realize it. We wake up at 2:30 in the morning, and you were on that morning shift for 12 years.
Yep.
You have a family. Your kids are getting older. I think it's different when they're really little,
Yeah.
and you can get away with going to sleep when they go to sleep at like 7, 8 o'clock, and you're getting maybe 6 or 7 hours, but your kids are in activities and
Yeah.
they're going through things in their lives, and you're mom and you want to be able to be there, but you also worked really hard to get to this point to
Yeah.
where you could afford to step away.
Yeah, and it gave us an opportunity, and that I had to take it. I really couldn't deny the signs that were given to me, and I had to step into the role that I was supposed to. So it was really a big decision, and it's a hard decision to give up the label. I've come to terms with that this year. And again, I think as women in general, when you do have a position that is a little bit more clout or has a title associated with it, it's a big difference. And I was describing that to friends this weekend, because I said, what do you do when I walk up to you and you say, I'm a news anchor? Oh.
People respond differently. They
Oh,
treat you
wow.
differently. They do.
What
They
do you do when you walk up and you say you're a bartender? Oh, that's fun. And it's a totally different demeanor that people present you with, regardless of how you look or carry yourself. We put a ton of weight into titles that are unnecessary,
Yeah.
and the fact that it doesn't have any bearing on your intelligence, it doesn't have any bearing on your monetary situation, because I have friends who have their own planes. You would never know it, because they dress in a flannel shirt and khakis all the time, and they choose to just be themselves.
Yeah.
And because they don't have a title really, they'll just say, oh, I do this, like I do furniture. They don't say they own
the furniture store.
so
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
But people will treat you 100% differently. And I learned that in the restaurant business too, was never to judge a book by its cover, because I had some of the wealthiest customers who came in like that. And then I had some of the people that no one would wait on, because they thought they either looked a certain way, they look like they don't have money, they're not going to take care of me tonight. So they wouldn't wait on them. And I would take every one of those tables, because all those people wanted was to matter and feel special. And when they did, I always made money. I never had an issue making money, because I treated every single person the same. I don't care if you're the president walking in there, you're going to get treated the same as the person who's cleaning the floor.
Absolutely.
And that's how I felt about every job. That's why I don't care about what I do. It's just how I do it and how I make people feel. And that's why the TV thing, when we started really building rapport with the community, that's what I loved. It wasn't the job, it wasn't the title. I mean, it felt great for people to think you were cool, but in essence, that has absolutely no bearing on where I am now. It helps with certain things, but I really think that, I think we put way too much weight into it.
Who is Kristen Crowley? No titles.
Oh gosh.
What have you learned taking the leap of faith to step away from television? What have you learned about who you are stripped down just to you?
Man, I care too much. I care a lot. I'm extremely emotional. We've already seen that. I just want, I want people to like me. I've always felt that way. I've always wanted to do things that make people happy or make them feel better about themselves. I think every experience I've been put through, if it's hard or not, has been to teach other people how to get through it, and that you can ultimately get to a better place. And I've definitely gotten there now. It's not easy, but it felt right, and being able to help people. I literally don't have a paying job. I left a solid job for 12 years of a paycheck and notoriety to just go after what I wanted.
I want to talk about the decision to leave, because there were several layers.
Yeah.
And and I certainly want to dispel this too, because some people will say, well, oh, her husband must be rich, so she just left because of that. So she can live this carefree life.
Yeah.
There was a part of you that didn't want to leave because you didn't want people to think that you were just going to step into this cushy life. And if that were the case, that's fine, because we judge people way too hard about what they've worked for and what they've earned.
You got that, go for it.
But do you think that you stayed on longer because you didn't want people to think that you were staying at home?
Yeah, maybe. And that's the thing too. I give credit to all my friends who do choose to stay at home. That is their job. I love creative outlets, so I have to have something to do. And my brain is a million miles a minute, and I survived 12 years on my schedule with having the energy that I showed, which is real energy, but now it'll be tenfold because I don't have to get up early.
She bounced in here like a ray of sunshine,
I'm
waking
here,
up when the sun comes up and stuff.
I have a lot of energy around people. I feed off of people. And if I'm by myself, I'm quiet and I'll lay there and I'm fine. But if it's I have a lot of nervous energy or anxiety. I dealt with anxiety for a long time. So I like to be busy, but I also want to make a difference. So I think the fact is that I chose to step away. I knew I wasn't going to be making the money in that sense, but we had spent 25 years putting myself in a position, and that's the part a lot of people don't understand. Most people didn't start working until they were in their mid-20s after college. I was working by myself, for myself, from the day I was, technically 14 because I got a permit. But anyways, 25 years that I have worked nonstop and saved and put through houses and created what we have as a family. And my husband's equally, I found a partner in life who is even more hardworking than I am, which is very hard to do. And he works harder than I do. And he has done an incredible job, and I can't even believe what he's accomplished in life, because he's an actual real life superhero. Aww. And he's amazing. And it's that's the thing. We have literally busted our butts to get to this point. And I have done, I've put my health in danger. I've made myself sick. I've been through all the scares in the past couple of years, which is part of the reason that I was like, I have to take a step back, because the stress and the anxiety were getting to me. And I will make a difference, because when you're put on that path, it will come back to you in abundance if you give instead of always asking. And I overgive. And I've already received so much this year that it's a true indication that if you do learn to let go and follow what you're really passionate about, it will come. You just still are ultimately responsible.
You said, I was built to do hard things.
Yeah. I think physically and mentally, even though I felt shy and intimidated, I was always able to do it. So my mom is a force. She is a force to be reckoned with. And I was never given the leniency of saying, oh, it's okay that you're second place, or oh, it's okay that you don't have, it's going to be, no, it was just get up, do it. You're not bleeding to death. You're fine. Get up. And that was how my life was. Especially farm life in general is hard, and it's manual labor. And I don't think a lot of people get that, because they're not, it's a very small population that experiences it. But I do think that we are gifted with certain things. Yeah. And I was gifted with an ability to take a lot. And I do, I can get beaten down or rained upon with so much, and I'll still make it happen.
You'll still push.
But how I was built to do it. And we're all built differently. I don't think we're not, if we were all the same, obviously it'd be pretty boring. But I feel like I pushed through everything. I mean, doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I've powered through a lot already, and that put me where I am now. So I'm grateful for it. All the pain, all the heartache, everything. You have to be grateful. Like, there's no other way to say that.
It makes you who you are.
It does. Yeah, it truly does.
But then you also went through a phase where feeling like you were imprisoned by a certain number on the scale.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
We could talk about so much.
I know.
We got like hours of stuff from this. Again, I was given all these things in my life so I could share it with y'all and help you in some way, I hope. When I was in high school, I was very skinny still, but I finally started filling out after the tiny phase of shooting up to my height and being this big. But when I started to fill out a little bit, because of horses, my legs were much bigger than my upper body because of it's the muscle I used all the time training. And I remember thinking how fat my legs were, and
you felt they were.
I felt they were. I mean, I was still small, but in my mind. And I looked at the scale one day, and I was up to 135 on the scale. And at this point, I was 5'9", and I was like, if I ever get over 135, I'm gonna starve myself till I get back down to it.
Oh wow!
And that was just something that I still clearly remember is that distinct number, because that's the number I used through all my modeling years. Even though that wasn't my weight, because I could not maintain that weight healthy. It was not a healthy weight, and it was, as I obviously filled out more, there's no way I was gonna be that weight unless I starved myself literally. And I always said I would, I never did it, which was the good thing. A lot of people don't, their brains do take over, and they don't have control of it. I still maintained control, but it was, just that number just stuck out, and I used it on every modeling application through my early 20s because I thought that's what they wanted to see. And they also say that if you're over this weight, you don't qualify. And even though I was the same size, I just carry way more density as far as muscle and bone. I'm just bigger in that sense. So it was really hard to grasp getting over that number. And it was hard.
Was it, when did you find yourself able to free yourself from that number? Because you and I have talked about this a lot. Even along my wellness journey, losing 100 pounds and not remaining at that number that meant I lost 100 pounds was terrifying. It puts you in a prison, really.
It does.
And it makes you think that you are not doing well if you're not at one specific number all the time. And you provided much therapy for me on trying to help me break free from, staying in prison to a number. But you had two beautiful, beautiful children.
Yes.
Was it through the process of having your two beautiful, smart, intelligent, kind babies that your body changed after that you said, wait a minute, did you start to embrace where your body wanted to go?
Yeah, I gained 50 pounds with both because I could not even walk more than just into the job, sit down, get up, do our stuff, and sit down. So I wasn't allowed to do anything physical for almost 10 months with both pregnancies. So I gained actual weight. It wasn't just water weight. It was fat, and it's hard to burn off. First kid is okay. In your late 20s comes off a lot faster. Once you have the second kid and you're in your mid 30s, it doesn't come off very fast. And it was then when I realized, because after Ronnie was born, the first one, I did lose the weight pretty quickly, just a few months, and I was right back at it. I was like, I'm in the gym, I feel great, I feel so good. And it was easier. I still never really got into the heavy lifting. I was still working out normal to me, which was mostly cardio,
a lot of cardio,
a little bit of light weights. And after Talon was born, I went into postpartum depression. I was, crying all the time. I was like, didn't know what was wrong. I know you've talked about that with Ariane. It's a hard thing to overcome and understand. But again, because mentally I'm very strong, I knew what was happening, and I battled through it because I didn't want to I tried the medication. It made me sick. I didn't want to take medication. I was like,
you took medication for depression?
I started to. Made me feel absolutely horrible. My body doesn't respond to medicine well. So I was like, I have to combat this naturally. and I know what's going on, so I am going to overcome this. I am going to make it better, and I have to find a way. So I was like, I'm going back to the gym, got a trainer, went back to the gym, wasn't still lifting very heavy, but I was starting to see some changes. I felt better about myself, and then I went back with a friend of mine who's been a friend for 20 years, and I hurt my shoulder. I've had back surgery. I've had one foot is bad. I have bad knees. I have a bad shoulder. Like, I'm old, and I'm just old. I've been old since I was 20, and so I went to him because I was like, listen, I have all these injuries, but I need to get this out. Like, this anxiety and this like intense like shaking and burning inside of me has to have an outlet.
Is that what it felt like?
Yeah,
Can you
for
talk
me,
about...
mine was very much stomach shaking, like it just feels like everything's doing this, but it's internal. So, you don't see it, but I felt that way all the time. The reflux was horrible, fatigue was horrible, my inflammation was horrendous to where I could barely move my neck it was bad.
Did you feel the sadness?
Yes, I would cry randomly, mostly frustration with my family, not my kids. None of it was ever reflective of my kids, none of it, mine was all towards, family members because they weren't helping me. But they also really didn't know how to help me, and they didn't know what was wrong. Like, I couldn't communicate it, and you're trying to pump, and you're trying to manage a baby, and you're trying to look better, and I would just cry and cry and cry, and I couldn't stop it. And I'm fairly good at controlling most things, so I could not control any of it, and that's when I knew what was really wrong. So there's a symptom that if anybody experiences this, it was actually my hands and my feet, and they would itch. The itching was so intense that I'd have to just sit here. And this was happening at work at the station. And I would have to just sit here, and I would itch, and I would itch, and I would itch, and I would go, and I'd put ice cold or hot burning water on my hands to get it to stop at work. And this was happening when I came back to the station right after him. And they would not stop. It was all day. It was for weeks. And it felt horrible. It was like inside of your hands were burning. And the only time it would go away was when I went to hot yoga or when I was lifting weights. And so that's when I realized the connection with exercise and overcoming anxiety or any of those problems. And the more I worked out, the better it got. And within a few weeks of me being consistent, it went away.
You said it was, for you noticed a change in your feelings of depression and anxiety as you embraced the lifting.
Yeah.
And it helped those feelings, you said, go away 95%.
Yeah, I mean, I still deal with anxiety. I mean, I don't think that ever goes away once you really have it, because then you notice it more. So that'll never go away for me. And it is an energy. Sometimes you can harness it if you harness that power. But it was, really honestly. And then after my second child, I had such a hard time losing the weight. It was way harder. You're older, your metabolism is slower. I hadn't been active in 10 months. It was pretty bad. And the only thing that started to work was when I embraced the fact that cardio is not the answer. Hallelujah, Jesus, because I hate that elliptical machine, but I still do it. But lifting heavier weights and challenging yourself to a point that you didn't think was possible. It took years, and I got up to 800 pounds on a leg press.
My God.
Which is insane.
Kristen.
Is that possible for a woman? Yes, it is. And I don't look that way. Like, you think that's a body. No. Your muscles are more capable and stronger than you ever imagined. I mean, you look at like people when they get adrenaline rushes and what you're physically capable of, you are capable of it. You just right here in the way, and you won't let yourself do it. I can unequivocally say that it helped me overcome the anxiety part faster. I mean, I still am dealing with it. It's never going to end, but it helps me deal with it.
I think it helps you manage it instead of it managing you.
Yeah, and without medication.
Yes.
Because that is the thing. I mean, and so the medication does work for some of my friends because they couldn't find any other, you find what works for you. I can't deal with the medication because my body rejects it. It just makes me so sick. So again, there's a lot of things. Everybody's so different, and we're all, like I said, we're all different, but it's all the ultimate thing that we want to feel good, and you just have to find a way to get there, without judgment.
Right.
Without
right.
judgment.
And whatever works for you works for you. So you have taken on this passion for health and fitness in an even magnified way. It's always been important to you, but you are stepping into your power.
Yeah.
You're stepping into your strength. And now that you have stepped out of the daily grind of morning TV news, you are stepping into this new chapter with WellFit Social.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing because the energy surrounding it is so positive, and it inspires all of us to look at the obstacles in our lives and say, you know what, I can do that.
Mental health, internal health, and external health are all part of the equation, and there's not one part that works without the other. And we're seeing a big shift of that in the fitness industry in general, where people are going more to mental health components in their fitness training, whether it be meditation or yoga or therapy or, you know, special classes or those type of things, because it makes a difference. So the event came to fruition because I love my people. I want to be around people, but I want people to connect because, you know, I sit in a room with someone for 3 minutes, I'm gonna find something in common with you.
Yes,
I don't care who you are, we will find something in common. It's a city, it's an animal, something. And that's what I wanted the event to be, was finding a way for all these people to realize that we're more alike than you think. We have more in common than you think. And we are all capable of the same things, it's just a totally different timeline. And it's a totally different path. So, you know, like we said, you may not be able to lift what I can lift, but you can cook the food I can cook, which is why I share the food stuff on YouTube. Like, I like to show people what's possible and easy. And again, my life is crazy busy, so everything I've done has been fast and efficient. Efficiency is my middle name. Like, I'm gonna get it done really quick. So the event was really just having people share their stories in regards to nutrition and fitness and mental health. And we found different aspects to represent that, because you told your story, which had everyone crying, which is not a surprise. And, you know, you shared your journey. You know, we had people speaking to nutrition and how to, like, screw your to-do list, which Carmen spoke about. That was, you know, because we get overwhelmed, and we're letting ourselves get overwhelmed
Before we even step foot on the path. Before
it's
we
like,
even try.
That's the mental part. Like, we screw ourselves before you even get to the place you need to start. And that mindset is just detrimental. It's horrible. We're doing it to ourselves, and we're our own worst enemies in it. And the lack of education out there is sad. And we live in a digital world. We all Google. We all die in a can, like something on WebMD every time we Google what's wrong with us. Like, please don't go down that rabbit hole. But this event was meant for people to be face-to-face and actually connect and collaborate and help each other.
You also have some exciting news.
I do. I'm such excited.
So Kristen Crowley is gonna be in some magazines.
Yes, I'm so excited. It was another dream come true.
You know what I just thought about?
Yeah.
This is such a full circle moment.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm about to
Lord.
cry again.
Oh, Lord.
Do you remember when I was featured in Women's Day magazine?
Yeah.
And we shared it.
Oh, we get to share this too.
We shared it
On air.
on the news, and I was so overwhelmed. I took Kristen's hand.
We did. We'll hold hands.
And the whole time, I did not let go of your
No, you
hand.
didn't. It was a whole segment of talking, and because
For
you were
5
shaking.
minutes.
You were shaking.
I would not let go
Yeah.
of your hand. And to be able to see you
I got it.
in this space.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a full circle moment.
It is.
Kristen,
Isn't that amazing?
I ask everyone who comes on Decide to Live, the best decision of your life. What was it?
Oh, God. Oh, that's hard. That's really hard. I've made some good decisions, I must say, you know, my husband and my kids, obviously. But I guess the best decision was to just let go of the label and let go of the judgment, and to actually choose myself and my health and my family first over everything else. So that was probably the thing I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Because I'm proud of each of those things individually, but now I can actually be there for all of those things in the right way and a healthy way, and not be, you know, exhausted. So yeah, I'd say it was actually like letting go.
You are built to do hard things,
I love you.
and you are giving us the permission to do hard things.
Thank you.
I love you. I'm so
love you
proud of
too.
you.
Kristen's story reminds us that we can't judge a book by its cover. We have all endured some type of pain that shapes who we are. I hope these life lessons from her story resonate with you, that you are stronger than you know. You are built for hard things, and never let your fear stop you from following your dreams. I'm Jessica Larché. Remember, a brighter day could be one good decision away, and I hope you decide to live.
I just keep on pushing, 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 pushing.